Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB game scheduled for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Saturday in Major League Baseball. First up is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Chicago White Sox. Michael Lorenzen and Dylan Cease are your projected starters in this one. Both of these starting pitchers faced the opposition not too long ago. In fact, their last starts, Michael Lorenzen against the White Sox on May 27th, 6 2/3 innings, no earned runs, only 2 unearned runs, 4 strikeouts, and a 7-3 Tigers win. The Tigers have won 4 of the last 5 games that Lorenzen has started in. He's been much sharper as of late, other than that one start against Kansas City where he gave up those 5 earned runs. In the month of May, he was a really good option for the Tigers in that rotation. Dylan Cease, on the other hand, struggled a little bit against these Tigers back on May 28th. It was 4 innings, 4 runs, a home run, and 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, so he was able to miss some bats, but still not the sharpest we've seen Dylan Cease, and that was a 6-5 White Sox loss. The White Sox have lost 3 of the last 5 games that Dylan Cease has started. Hasn't been the ace level or Cy Young level pitcher that we saw from him last year with Chicago, and his numbers at home, 4.45 ERA, so a little bit better than on the road, but still nothing crazy there. 19 walks in 32 1/3 innings at Guaranteed Rate Field is pretty concerning. I think we're getting a really good price here with Detroit, especially because you can take them on the run line plus those 1.5 runs. They've been a competitive team this season, a little bit more so at Comerica Park than on the road, but still, with Dylan Cease struggling with his control, I got to take those 1.5 runs. Next up, it's the Washington Nationals hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Mackenzie Gore going for the home team. No official starter for Philadelphia right now. In the last 30 days, the Phillies have not hit lefties too well. Their power numbers are good, but their OPS is ranked 28th in baseball. Their strikeout percentage right around 28%, one of the highest in the league during that stretch. So it's tough to get behind the Phillies in this game. Mackenzie Gore has had some issues with the home run ball in the month of May. We saw him give up 6 homers in 31 innings, but still his strikeout stuff is good, and overall he's been a good option in this Nationals rotation, a 3.57 ERA overall this season. When you look at his home and road splits, sure, his home starts haven't been as strong with that 4.13 ERA, but he still has 25 strikeouts and 24 innings at home. I think he's good enough here. Give me the Washington Nationals on the money line. Next up, it's the Texas Rangers taking on the Seattle Mariners. We're going to see Marco Gonzalez and Andrew Heaney, a pair of lefties on the mound in this one. Now, when you look at these two teams offensively in the last 30 days against left-handed pitchers, you look at team OPS, the Rangers 4th best in baseball, while the Mariners rank 22nd in the league. So certainly an advantage there goes to the Rangers. When it comes to isolated power, these teams are pretty similar, both a little bit below league average. When it comes to strikeout rate, you look at the Texas Rangers, 19.4%, one of the lower strikeout rates against lefties in the last 30 days. The Mariners, 25.8%, so one of the higher strikeout rates, 6th highest in baseball during that span. And I already think Andrew Heaney is the much better option on the mound. He's having the better season so far with that sub-4 ERA compared to Marco Gonzalez, who has an ERA at 5.22. His last start was good against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The previous one was okay against the Oakland Athletics. But you got to remember, those are 2 of the weaker lamps in baseball in the last month. Now you're facing the Texas Rangers at home, where they just crushed the baseball this year. We know Gonzalez has issues with the long ball. His control can be off. He doesn't really strike out a lot of guys. To me, this is a bad matchup for him. So give me the Texas Rangers on the money line at home. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Matthew Liberatore and Luis Ortiz are your projected starters for now, but there is no official lineup for this game, so we could see a pitching change. But, if Liberatore is a starter for the Cardinals, I think he pitches well in this game, and I thought he pitched pretty well in his last start against the Guardians, despite what his final line may say. 5 innings, 4 runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Doesn't really look great on paper, but really, Liberatore was dominant in the first 4 innings of that start. He just got into some issues in that 5th inning, gave up those 4 runs, really couldn't get the big out, and that's why his final line, looked the way it did, and that's why he took the loss in that game, as the Cardinals bats didn't really back him up there. But I think Liberatore pitches well in this game. On the road, Pittsburgh, not the best numbers like I just mentioned against the left-handed pitchers in the last month. 29th in isolated power, 26th in team OPS, pretty high strikeout rate. I think the Pittsburgh Pirates struggle here against Liberatore. And, Luis Ortiz, not really my favorite starting pitcher to back. In 20 2/3 innings this season, only 14 strikeouts with 11 walks to go with it. So not really missing a lot of bats, putting guys on base via the walk. And in his last start, 2 home runs allowed to the Seattle Mariners. So now that is a concern. I know St. Louis, their bats really didn't show up in those Guardians or Royals series, and I know they're dealing with some injuries right now, some key injuries, but I still think they're the better team here, and I like their chances against Ortiz. So give me the St. Louis Cardinals on the run line on the road. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Patrick Sandoval and Christian Javier are your projected starters in this one. Patrick Sandoval already faced these Astros once this season. It was back on May 8th, and that was an Angels victory, but Sandoval gave up 4 earned runs, a home run, and 7 walks in 6 1/3 innings with only 2 strikeouts in that start, so obviously not his best stuff. We saw last year Sandoval was not his best against the Astros, and this is an Astros team that traditionally hits left-handed pitchers very well. And last year Sandoval against the Astros, 9 innings, 12 base hits, 6 runs, 5 of those were earned, a home run, 4 walks to go with it, so a 5.00 ERA with a 3.08 opponent's batting average. With Jose Altuve back in the lineup, it's even tougher to face the Astros as a left-handed starter. So I don't really love Sandoval in this matchup, especially on the road. And Christian Javier has given up a lot of home runs as of late, at least 1 home run in each of his last 4 starts. That could be a problem in a game like this against a pretty powerful Angels lineup. But we saw, Javier pitch against these Angels back on May 10th, 6 innings, 2 runs, 11 strikeouts. He did give up a home run in that game, and like I say, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shohei or Mike Trout hit a home run early in this game, but I don't think it's going to be enough for the Angels to win in the end, especially if Javier is missing those bats. So maybe look towards the over in this game, because I do think we're going to see some runs early, but I do like the Astros to win it in the end. I think they have the better bullpen, so give me the Houston Astros on the money line. Next up, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the Kansas City Royals, a pair of lefties in this one as well, Austin Gomber and Daniel Lynch. The Rockies have not hit lefties very well this season, and that's definitely the case in the last month. They're crushing right-handed pitchers, but not really doing much against lefties. In the last month, 24th in isolated power against lefties. They are 27th in team OPS. A 25.1% strikeout rate is top 10 highest in baseball during that span. While the Royals have hit lefties pretty well overall this year, not so much in the last 30 days, right around league average numbers, but Austin Gomber, he has struggled at Coors Field, he has struggled on the road at Kauffman Stadium. I don't like his chances either. A 7.00 ERA, only 34 strikeouts and 54 innings of work. A lot of home runs, a good amount of walks as well. I do think the Royals get to him early on. Daniel Lynch, this is only going to be his second start of the season at the Major League level, but he pitched pretty well in that first game against the Nationals. Good enough for the Royals to win that game in the end. He went 5 1/3, 6 strikeouts, only 2 runs. No home runs is the key for me. Give me the Kansas City Royals on the money line. I'm going to take them to win this game at Kauffman. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Milwaukee Brewers with Colin Ray and Graham Ashcraft on the mound in this one. Graham Ashcraft in his last 15 innings of work, he's given up 17 earned runs, 3 home runs, and 4 walks. It's just really tough to back him in a game like this against a Brewers team that hits righties better than lefties, and a Great American Ballpark, a very hitter-friendly ballpark. And with the weather in Cincinnati getting a little bit hotter now, we should see even more runs being scored at Cincinnati's Great American. So, Colin Ray on the other side, not my favorite starting pitcher to back, a 4.89 ERA, 4 more earned runs and 2 homers in his last start against the Giants in a high-scoring affair. I think we see a high-scoring game in this one. Give me the over in Cincinnati-Milwaukee. Next up, it's the Oakland Athletics taking on the Miami Marlins. Luis Medina and Yuri Perez are your starters. To me, this is a pitching mismatch. You got Yuri Perez, who I still think has some room for improvement, certainly as a young pitcher, only 20 years of age, but a sub-3 ERA so far, 19 strikeouts in 19 innings. The control's been off here and there. His last start, 4 walks allowed, but still, that was 5 innings of shutout baseball with only 2 hits allowed against the Angels in a 2-0 victory. So I think Perez pitches well enough in this game. And Luis Medina, a lot of home runs already allowed this season, 10 home runs and 27 2/3 innings of work. An ERA just below 7, an 0-4 record. Just can't trust him in this game. Give me the Miami Marlins on the run line. Next up, it's the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the New York Mets. Jose Barrios and Tylor Megill are your starters. Like I said, the last time Jose Barrios was on the mound, I don't know if we can just blindly fade him when he's pitching on the road now. He started against the Pirates on May 6th, went 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, and an 8-2 Blue Jays win. Then against the Tampa Bay Rays at Tropicana Field on May 23rd, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and a 20-1 Blue Jays victory. And then his last start against the Twins on the road, 5 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, and the walks piled up. 5 walks in that game is a little bit concerning, but no runs, no home runs in a 3-0 Twins or Blue Jays win. So Barrios has pitched very well in the last 3 road starts, and although the Mets are improving offensively, Tylor Megill, it's just really tough to back him in this spot. The Blue Jays have hit right-handed pitchers very well this season and in the last 30 days overall. Megill, that last start was at Coors Field, but still 10 base hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 6 total runs, so 2 of those were unearned. The defense hasn't really helped him out lately, but really he's giving up a lot of sharp contact. His strikeout numbers are not reliable. Even his control can be off at times. We've seen him walk 4 batters against the Nationals, 2 batters in his last 2 starts against the Rockies and Cubs, and in short innings, 3 2/3 and 4 innings. So to me, McGill, it's not really trustworthy right now. I think Barrios is the better option. So give me the Toronto Blue Jays on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Minnesota Twins. Sonny Gray and Logan Allen are your starters in this one. We saw this same pitching matchup back on May 6th. It was a 4-3 Guardians win, and I think we could see another Guardians victory here on the road. Sonny Gray's been really sharp this year, 4-0 with a 1.94 ERA, but he doesn't really pitch too deep into ball games. And, in the month of May, only 1 start where he went 6 innings or more, and that was his last game against the Astros. Other than that, though, he went 5 innings, 5 1/3, 4 innings, 5 innings. A lot of those games were Twins losses because even though Gray pitched well early on, the bullpen didn't hold up or the bats didn't back him up. And now, you're facing a lefty here in Logan Allen who already pitched well against your team once. He's in great form going into this start because his last start was one of his best, certainly his best of his career so far at the Major League level. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs against the Orioles on the road. Your numbers against the lefties in the last 30 days, 26th in isolated power, below average in team OPS, 6th highest strikeout rate against lefties in the last month for the Twins. It's just really tough to get there with Minnesota. Sonny Gray's had issues with the Guardians. He already gave up 3 runs in 5 innings this year, but he had a 4.67 ERA against the Guardians last year. He doesn't pitch deep into ball games. I don't love this Twins bullpen. To me, this game is all Guardians, so give me the Cleveland Guardians on the money line. Next up, it's the New York Yankees taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Garrett Cole and Michael Grove are your starters. When you look at this matchup on paper, you see, both these teams similar records. Garrett Cole looks like the much better starting pitching option. He's 6-0 with a 2.93 ERA. Michael Grove 0-1 with an 8.44 ERA. But I do think because of that, the Yankees are a little bit overvalued because Garrett Cole has not been that 6-0, 2.93 ERA pitcher in the last month or so. In the month of May, a 5.18 ERA. He had 3 starts where he gave up 5 runs or more. He had 4 starts where he gave up 2 home runs or more. So in his last 2 starts, against the Orioles and Padres, 11 innings combined, 11 runs, 10 of those were earned runs, 4 home runs to go with it, 6 walks as well. He's not in good form going into this game. While Michael Grove, before the injury, pitched a lot better in his last 2 starts against the Cubs, April 15th and April 20th, went 8 2/3 innings combined, only 3 earned runs. So, I do think, even though the Yankees will be able to probably get to Grove for a few runs early, I expect the Dodgers to be able to get to Garrett Cole. He's just not in good form right now, giving up way too many home runs. The Dodgers hit righties very well. Their OPS and power numbers are strong. I'm going to take the Dodgers here at home. I think we're getting some value with the home team, believe it or not, on the money line. Next up, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the San Francisco Giants. Kyle Bradish and Alex Cobb are your starters. Both of these guys below a strikeout per inning this season, but I like the fact that Alex Cobb keeps the ball on the ground. His ground ball percentage much better than Bradish's so far this year, and Alex Cobb's been so good at Oracle Park this season, a 1.8 ERA in 30 innings at home this season. I think he bounces back in his spot. I lean towards the Giants in this game, and the under. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game at Oracle Park, a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, but give me the Giants here on the money line. Next up, it's the Atlanta Braves taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to see Spencer Strider and Ryan Nelson on the mound in this one. I do think Arizona can compete in this game offensively against Strider, who's been excellent this year, but Arizona does a great job at limiting strikeouts at the plate. We know Strider is a strikeout guy. He's got 106 Ks in 63 2/3 innings, but Arizona, the lowest strikeout rate in baseball against right-handed pitchers in the last 30 days. But my big problem here with Arizona is Ryan Nelson on the other side. He has struggled his last start, 5 earned runs, 8 base hits, a home run, 3 walks to go with it against the Rockies team. That was their first game back from a Coors Field homestand. So, it's tough to get behind Nelson in this game. I guess I would lean towards the over, but I do think Atlanta will be able to get to Nelson more than the Diamondbacks can get to Strider. So we'll lean towards the over and the Braves here in this one. And the final game for Saturday's card in Major League Baseball, it's the Chicago Cubs taking on the San Diego Padres. Drew Smyly and Yu Darvish are your projected starters in this one. I do think that this matchup benefits the Padres a lot more. Yu Darvish pitching at Petco Park, he's been much better at home this season. An ERA above 6 on the road, but an ERA at 3.3 in 30 innings at home this year with 36 strikeouts to go with it. Drew Smiley, he's pitched well overall this year, a 3.45 ERA, but his last start was not his best. 5 earned runs, 7 base hits against the Reds in 4 2/3 innings. He's facing another team here in San Diego that hits lefties very well. Good power numbers, good OPS numbers as well. I think San Diego takes this one. Give me the Padres on the run line at home. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in the MLB. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.